Last night, the UN Security Council met to discuss the West Bank tensions. It was the third such meeting since the current Israeli government came to power. So we're asking, are the current tensions harming Israel's relations with its Gulf allies, and what can be done to restore calm to the territories? Well, joining me in the studio, Colonel Grisha Yakubovich is an Israeli-Palestinian relations expert, and over in Abu Dhabi tonight, Loay Al-Shareef is a peace activist and an expert in Arab-Israeli relations. Good evening to you both. And Grisha Yakubovich, I'll start with you if I may. When was the last time you saw tensions as so high in the West Bank, and do you see potential for it calming down anytime soon?
Well, the last time it happened, if I remember, it reminds me the beginning of the Second Intifada. It's some sort of same event, attacks, people, riots, terrorists, shootings. The PA, Palestinian Authority, is also joining to the celebration, if I can say. Shaheeds from Hamas, Jihad, Fatah. The PA are leading official funerals to the ones who are considered by Israel as terrorists, and for them are considered as heroes. And it continues. Unfortunately.
And we also, of course, saw Jewish settlers run rampage in the village of Hawara, which was torched earlier this week. Loay, given what happened earlier this week, do Israel's Gulf allies still sympathise with Israel and its security concerns, or is that sympathy transferring now to the Palestinians?
Well, there's a sympathy for ending this. Ending this circle of violence. You know, when Saudi Arabia and the UAE made clear statements that they condemn attacking civilians on both sides, that was a very clear signal that the violence that would target Israelis is condemned as much as the violence that would attack the Palestinians. Now, here's the thing that I think would happen. Now, we are approaching the month of Ramadan, and every Ramadan we have an annual event that happens, and I hope that it doesn't happen this year. And now all the efforts are pushed towards this because we don't want to see, you know, violence breeds violence, hatred breeds hatred. And what we see in what I personally monitored, the events of Hawara, was absolutely unfortunate, and we need to reach a solution to break this cycle of violence.
All right. Well, Grisha, looking at the cycle of violence, you've argued in a recent article that the current tensions stretch back before the election of the current government, back to 2021. Can you elaborate on that a bit for us?
Well, usually when I lead my tours around the Gaza envelope or the West Bank, one of the things that I'm explaining to people is that the ones who won the round of escalation in May 2021 were actually Hamas. But their victory started already at the round of violence in 2014, when the first picture that came out of Gaza was Haniya standing on the ruins of his house in Shati refugee camp and doing something like that. I won. What is the meaning of this victory? It means we, Hamas, a small, tiny organization compared to the mighty IDF, succeeded to stand against the strongest military in the Middle East for 52 days. Now, that's a huge achievement. Maybe it sounds something small to us in Western eyes, but when it comes to build a narrative, that's something great. Now, to May 2021, rockets to Jerusalem, riots at the mixed cities in Israel, Lebanon, Syria, demonstrations on the fence, and who won that round of escalation? Hamas. And it's all about the chair, the day after. When you build a narrative, and the narrative is mukawama, it means resistance, okay? When you translate it to Arabic, in Hebrew or Western words, it will be terror. The only way and the only achievement that you can get is through violence. And that's what works, and those are the heroes.
Right, but if I could just jump in briefly, do the actions of the Jewish settlers in the West Bank, are they helping Hamas in a way? Because they're helping to justify attacks.
Any violence, any policy, okay, that will make Mahmoud Abbas' life tougher, okay, that will be more difficult to explain why he is leading or why there is a security condition with Israel, will actually work and benefit Hamas. Okay, as simple as it sounds. Actually, if we want to weaken them, okay, the heroes, the new heroes, Hamas, that if there will be elections, will win the elections, okay, we need to start talking to them.
Okay. Loay, if we could talk about the Abraham Accords, to what extent do you think for the Emiratis they were about bringing peace between Israelis and Palestinians? And do you think that there is now a sense of disillusionment given the way that the tensions are rising so rapidly right now?
Well, there's no disillusion. I just want to say one thing, that when the UAE made peace with Israel, it made peace on certain grounds. And one of these grounds is to actually merge Israel into the region, and Israel is there to stay. But of course, the tensions are not helping the advancement of the Abraham Accords to more countries, to broaden the Abraham Accords, I would say. And this is something that has to be done on the ground, not only by Israelis. I don't want to put all the blame on the Israelis. I also put lots of the blame on the PA and their loose control over the militant, the militant in the West Bank. So this is also something has to be considered. And also, I do feel this to sympathize. I do sympathize with the, and I wish all the good for the well-being of the Palestinians, but of course not the well-being of Hamas or the Islamic Jihad or the terror organizations that threaten innocent lives. I would never call them resistance, and I believe so many people here share this idea as well. Hamas is labeled as a terrorist organization in Gulf countries. We have to remember that. So, but the well-being of the Palestinians, like the ordinary Palestinians who just want to have a dignified life, this is something else. Now, some people here, to be very honest, Laura, might look at the Abraham Accords as, okay, so what is happening? So this is why the UAE goes to the UN, to the General Council, to put some pressure on stopping or freezing at least the ongoing settlements, so that we can breathe, that we can let people breathe and feel that, well, the peace that Israel did with the UAE is at least bringing some fruits, because some people see that there is no difference, that nothing really happened. No real pressure was put on Israel to advance the Middle East peace process. And I know that you might say, well, there has to be another pressure put on the PA, which is true, but this has to be played very well good in the world of diplomacy.
All right, Grisha, if you'd like to respond to that. Would a settlement freeze help bring calm to the West Bank?
I don't think so. I've been dealing with the disengagement from Gaza in 2005. I think that it's well known, we are the only democracy in the Middle East, and if the government of Israel, any government, will decide to disengage from settlements, the government decision will be implemented. And this is not the issue. We are talking about life, how to live tomorrow morning, prosperity, water, electricity, okay, access and movement. Those are the things that the PA should bring to their people. So instead saying no to any offer, let's say yes about something, let's move ahead with something, okay? Unfortunately, one of the problems in Gaza and in the West Bank, that because of Hamas as a terror organization and corruption of the PA, the people are suffering.
Okay, but they would argue that they cannot do that. They cannot develop all of the infrastructure that you just mentioned while they are still, as they see it, under occupation.
They can hire me as an expert. This is one of my expertise, and they can.
Okay, all right, we're going to leave it there. Grisha Yakubovich and, of course, Loay Al-Shareef, thank you very much indeed.